What a joy it is to have, if not the best player in the competition. He's in the...
No, the best player in the
Yeah, okay.
competition.
I'm happy to go with that as well. In the studio, if you don't mind, and there's no bigger Western Bulldog fan than our man Brooke out there. And when he hobbled in on crutches, his face dropped, tears started to roll down his face. And Marcus Bontempelli is the man we're talking about, celebrated author. That's what we're going to talk about today, but got other stuff we want to get into as well. Bont, great to have you in on November the, whatever it is, 6th or 8th?
Yeah, it could be.
8th, November the 8th.
Yeah, they're just rolling over now. Thanks for having me, guys. I mean, it's I don't think I've been in the studio, especially this one, maybe ever or a while, but it's a pretty handy setup you got in here, boys.
Very flash.
Cozy.
We got the cafe coffee out there about to fire up as well, so we can grab your coffee for no... Well, yeah, we can do wholesale rate.
But as you said, Gaz, lucky that we've got nice wide openings and clear access because the Bond's come in with a bit of work having been done and he's on the crutch.
Yeah, no, let's sort that out because we've got 4 journalists on the phone at the moment want to know what's going on. What's happened?
Oh, yeah, I better move to ease everyone's tensions or concerns. Just a little ankle clean out. So... got through the season and whatnot pretty good, and then just had my break, started to train, just noticed a few little signs, a little bit of swelling. It was staying, I guess a little bit angry post-session. So since coming back from my little off-season trip, we just decided better to act now and avoid pushing it into the pre-season and season, going for a little tidy up. But should still be well and truly on track to get things going once we're back on the 27th of November.
So just a little arthroscope, take out some foreign bodies, I think is the technical term, Field Marshal, and you should be right and ready to go.
That's it. No big concern here. Just, yes, better act sooner rather than later and move past it and get going.
So walking again properly by?
Should be by the end of the week. That's the hope.
Sorry,
you've got me pretty fresh.
Just thought we had a big
you
story
got me pretty
there.
fresh. I only had it 2 days ago.
He's done well to cram it in because you've been here, there and everywhere. Where
a little bit,
having your break?
Yeah, no, I was over in the US, but mostly Canada. My girlfriend, she's Canadian, so we went over to visit some of her family and the extended family over there. So pretty busy sort of couple of weeks, but and actually it doesn't really stop once we get back. It'll still continue to be busy the next few. So great to be in here talking about the little Bont book.
Well, that's right. In amongst all that, and we can talk some footy, but in amongst all that, you found the time to become an author, published author. Little Bont's Brave Play is your second book. It's along with Fiona Harris and illustrations by Megan Higgins. And this is... Give us the age demographic because it's a beautifully illustrated book. You've got little tributes to your nonna in the front, which I love. You can tell us about. Just tell us how this all came about.
It really all came about, through a question from a firm press of whether I'd ever considered kids' books and whether I would consider writing one. And I thought on it for a little while because it hadn't been something really prior to being asked I'd thought too much about. But it really came down to whether there was anything I wanted to talk about. I think you've always got to be invested in something like this where you're hopefully going to be able to influence the younger generation. So it is quite young. It's obviously a lot of pictures and only a few words. And I shouldn't say a celebrated author is an exaggeration when it comes to this. You might know a bit about that.
So he's the barometer for children's footy books.
I know you've got the speckies in the
You
in
are
the
a
past.
celebrated author in my eyes.
Thanks, mate.
Now, this is about Nonna's spooky cellar, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did Nonna really have a spooky cellar?
She did. A lot of the elements in the book are very real. Like, I try to make it as similar as possible to how I felt in my upbringing. The story can ad-lib a little bit because you want it to be readable for young kids around 3 to sort of 7. I guess that sort of preschool to early primary school ages, and even for newborns. I love being able to give it as a gift to especially teammates who are having little young ones now, and they can start sort of reading through the images and the words to their newborn. So it's great. The first one was about my mum's side of the family, my Nana Nancy, and this one's about my Nonna Paula. So it's been awesome to create another one.
Just quickly, Gary, I want to ask you about Nana Nancy. So did you really, again, truth here, serum, did you really kick the ball into her favourite garden? No?
Yeah, that
you
one
did?
happened.
And broke it?
Yeah,
Didn't want to tell her?
Yeah, that's how they roll. As a kid, you make mistakes. I think that's what the books are a little bit about is, there's a sensitivity to them that you're sometimes not always acting either the way you feel like you could or you should, and trying to deal with either guilt at times. A young person can be tough. So it's about trying to explore those, explore fear and courage and mix it all together with a bit of family and football.
So there is some genuine messaging through it. And the thing going back to when we did our books, and this is different. This is it's a beautiful book.
It looks amazing, doesn't it?
The pictures and illustrations are just crazy.
Megan Higgins, she's a very good illustrator, and she's brought everything to life. I think that's what you want in a kid's book, is have those pictures almost jump off the page. So it's quite exceptional, yeah.
And the great joy and one of the most rewarding things out of doing the books back in the day was that you got feedback from parents and teachers, particularly saying, listen, trying to get boys particularly, but this is not exclusive to boys, obviously, they're reluctant readers. And if you can hook them with something to get them in and then sit them down, they start reading the footy book. It was like, that was a real heartwarming stuff. And for this book here, Bont, to sit down or, jump into bed with your young little son, daughter, niece, nephew, whoever it is, and go through it and read the book and show the pictures and talk through the footy, that could be the impetus to get these kids involved in reading again rather than burying their head in their computers or whatever the case may be. And I don't know whether you got that feedback yet, but it seems to me that this will be a perfect entree to reading.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good feedback over the journey, especially after the first one, and that's something whenever you do anything in football, you don't expect it to impact people the way maybe it does, and that's something that's when I see people and they bring it to training and I sign a couple. People often actually complain about how much they've had to read the book because their kids have enjoyed it so much. So they've been hanging for the second one for a change of material, which is always good because you want people to enjoy it. But it really is mostly just about my family and my upbringing. So that just goes to show it's nothing out of the ordinary that I've had to go searching for. It's really things you just do normally growing up. It's the strong sort of female presence of both the female grandparents in my life that have had a really sort of strong influence. So it's really nice to have been able to sort of shed some light on that and hopefully see it have some good impact on some young kids out there.
And Nonna is still with us, correct?
She is,
How does Nonna
yes.
feel about being brought to life in a book like this?
I don't think she quite got it straight away. I think she was a bit confused. She's like, oh, what's this? And as I said to you boys off air, that as Italians are, they're always quite smart with their money. So she just wanted to make sure that part was being taken care of. And I moved to make sure her fears were not fears and that it's a small part of it. But
So you wanted to see the sheets?
she did, yeah. But that's the Italian way almost.
Love
So she hasn't changed one bit, which is why we all love her.
Now, Little Bont's in the navy blue Guernsey with a red sash.
Yeah.
It looked a little Melbourne-ish to me at one stage. It had me excited. But so how does it, the Western Bulldog side of things, like people go, why are you wearing a Western Bulldog jumper? So there's some issues around that?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's more a licensing thing from the AFL's perspective. So, you try and get it as close as you can. It's definitely not a Melbourne, Guernsey Gaz, so don't stress too much about that,
I wasn't
Bulldogs
stressing.
supporters.
Oh, yeah.
But there's plenty of colours in there, as we said before. Fiona, who's the, I guess co-author, has put some beautiful words to it, and Megan, who does the illustrations. It just, once again, it really just brings it all to life quite nicely.
It is a gorgeous book. It's produced by Affirm Press. I'm sure you can get this in every single bookstore, and you can get them online as well. It would be an unbelievable great Christmas stocking filler.
No.
Fieldy.
I've got it pegged already.
You're not taking my copy.
Okay,
Bont's going to personally autograph mine for me.
Love it.
And taking it home. So that'll be great. So we might. You got a few minutes? You not? You?
Yeah. I won't say where we're off to after this because it's a competitor. But
No. Hey, understand. You've done the prime 7 o'clock slot here. That's what we're most excited about. I'm just wondering how long we got you for. Whether we just got one segment. You got to duck off straight away. So let's get a couple of other questions in before you do. So the off season, what from a Western Bulldogs point of view, where's the improvement coming for Bulldogs fans that'll be listening?
I mean, more wins is where it probably simply starts. There's no doubt we fell short probably in a couple of games this year. They were close. They could have gone either way. We couldn't quite probably play out those sort of lasting sort of moments as well as we would have liked. We've probably looking for a bit more consistency across the board. I felt like we had some really solid contributions from a really good portion of players, but we haven't been able to probably find the most we can out of the whole squad, just or the whole team at different points. So you're always searching for consistency. You look at the best teams, who played right through the season, is they get that consistent output, from, player 1 to player 23, from game to game. We probably weren't able to put that together, long enough and often enough. We won a couple of good games here and there, but just were a bit up and down for periods of time. So need to get really, really, steady on our, game plan execution of how we're playing, and then be able to contribute from minute 1 to minute, 120. So I think that's, I think we've got the mix there. That's for sure. It's just about how we execute better.
You're going to have to be, well, it's going to be a busy meeting and greeting time when you do report back for duty because the team off-field has changed a lot. Why has it changed so much around Luke Beveridge, the coach, do you think?
I think it just happens in your, coaching careers. He's been, around for a period of time. I've only had the two coaches, I had Brendan McCartney for my first year, and then ever since then I've been coached by Bevo, and I think it's probably really hard to keep the same group together for year on year, and to obviously look for a different mix, look for different improvements, look for different opportunities in other guys is probably the way the club has felt like they need to try and continue to support him in his journey. So. It just happens. I think that's the coaching, coaching environment can change, pretty quickly and pretty rapidly at different points. But from all reports, all, 4 of the guys they brought in, so far are really, really good people, really good characters and can really add a lot to our football club.
What's the first thing Aaron Naughton did? Has he gone on board a monster truck? Has he gone on board a Lambo?
Probably a boat, I reckon, for Aaron.
Loves his fishing.
He's a fisherman. I've been with him once or twice up in Perth, where he's from, in Rockingham. So I would have thought a boat's probably on the agenda. And I think we'll all be lobbying for one as well, one each maybe after that one.
Well, has he left any on the table for you? Where are you at contractually?
Got a couple of years.
I think I'm okay. I think I got a couple left.
You've got 2 left
for now, so I'm safely tucked away. But there's a bit to work through maybe next year.
I wouldn't rule out a 10-year contract for him, man. He's only 27, 28 in a couple of weeks.
Hey,
Good
no
going
argument
till
from
he's
me. Don't
40.
worry about that. I've got a few messages and then we'll let you go because you've got to get to the other station. Was it Nicky Dell's nonna as well? Someone's off the temper text?
Other side of the family.
Other side,
yeah,
right.
Yep.
And with that foot of yours, one of the great joys about being a Temper mattress ambassador is you can get the up it goes, keep the foot elevated. How's that been for you?
It's been good. It's been good. I've had to have it in one of those, cushions for the last sort of couple of days. So that'll probably be me. Probably tonight I'll get back, in the Temper mattress and in the bed and have it all sorted.
Question for Boss. What's your favourite meal that Nonna cooks for you?
Oh, nice.
Pasta was always the top of the tree.
Yep.
Nice red sauce,
Simple.
bit of ravioli.
That's what I had. There's one of our great listeners. I was just telling Sam, I went out there on Thursday.
But there's a lot of talk about food in the book, as you can imagine, being quite a strong culturally Italian pastime. That food is front and centre to the book. That's for sure.
Hey, we love you, mate. Everyone does. You're getting great feedback on our message machine, which doesn't happen often in there, I tell you. So to get positives, it's a pretty good result. Little Bont's Brave play by the Bont with Fiona Harris. Beautiful illustrations by Megan Higgins. It's out now. Affirm Press is the publisher. Yep. You can find it in all good bookstores and online. Thanks so much for coming in, mate. And this will fly, I'm sure.
Pleasure. Thanks, gents. Take care.